Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Wolf back with another video. This is actually going to be my first psychology video, and this video was inspired by one of the guys in my Discord. Shout out to you, Kid Honcho, for giving me these 3 questions. Yeah, this is going to be my first psychology video, and this is important because psychology is an aspect of trading. So we can't just leave that out. And it was only a matter of time before I wanted to talk about psychology because, like I said, it's a very important aspect in trading as well. Also, shout out to everybody who subbed up. We finally hit at least 50 subs, and I'm just very excited to see the next milestone, which is of course 100. But I really appreciate everybody who is showing love so far. And yeah, it's been a minute since I actually posted a video. Actually, because I've been focusing on earning 300K in funding. I'll throw those on the screen, but I needed to really lock in and focus and just grow those accounts. And yeah, it all paid off for sure. So yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on just yapping away. I actually want to get into these questions. So with that being said, definitely sub up, like this video, and yeah, stay tuned. So psychology video. So where do we start? So these are the 3 questions that I want to go over. That was again recommended by Kid Honcho. So yeah, the first question: why are only a small percentage of traders profitable? Okay. Second question: what did I do different or change to become profitable? And 3: how do I manage my psychology while trading? Okay, so with the first question, why is there only a small percentage of traders that are profitable? Well, I like to look at it like this. All right, there's a small number of people that can do certain things mentally that most people can't. And what do I mean by that? Like, if you put just trading aside, just like real life situations, most people just aren't disciplined with their life. They aren't consistent. They don't know how to adapt when it's necessary. They don't know how to really they're not quick to act. Most people are not focused, and most people don't really think long term, right? So these are the very key components that you actually need, not only just with trading, but just to be successful in anything that you want to succeed in, right? Unironically, that translates over to traders as well. If you don't have any of these, most of them, you're not going to see any success in anything. So this is kind of a question where it's kind of obvious, but it's serious. Okay, if you're not disciplined, how the hell you expect to make trades? Discipline is necessary when it comes to trading, because no one's over your head telling you what to do, what not to do to make money. That's all up to you. And if you're not disciplined to show up every single day and actually backtest and practice and do your due diligence as far as research or just practicing and studying, if you don't have the discipline to do that, you're not going to make it. You're not going to be profitable, right? In fact, let me go ahead and just jog these things down. Why are people not profitable? Or well, let's see, why are there a small percentage of people? I'm going to type this up. And it's basically going to be the opposite of everything that I just said. So not disciplined. Okay, we'll start there. Not disciplined. Okay, they are not consistent. Not consistent. How do you expect to grow in anything if you can't even show up every single day and do the same thing all the time, every single day? Consistency, that's just as important. They're not consistent. They can't adapt in the markets. And in the markets, if you've been in there long enough, the markets are not the same every single day. You can find opportunities every single day, but the markets are not the same every single day. So if you don't have I like to say a playbook of things that you can change up when the markets change. Now, you're still sticking to your strategy, but you have a different approach to your execution. You got to be able to adapt. But in real life, if something happens to, a family member, a living situation, a boyfriend or girlfriend situation, right? Relationships, job situations. If you can't get up and change your circumstances, be able to adapt to things that are kind of out of your control, you're not going to make it. You're not going to survive in real life. The same thing translates to trading. You're going to constantly lose. If you're trying to trade the exact same thing the same way in trading, in all different types of markets, you're going to fail. You got to be prepared for everything. So people that can't adapt, okay? Quick decision making, or quick to act. People who are, let's just say, slow on decision, or slow, let's just say slow to act. Just say that. All right. The reason why a lot of people are successful in general is just because they're quick. Once they see an opportunity, they don't necessarily worry about the outcome. They are quick to act. And in trading, you have to be able to act quick. You have to be able to execute when you see something, right? The issue with being slow to act is the fact that you let a lot of opportunities slip through your hands. And that has something to do with psychology as well, too, especially when it comes to trading. You're slow to act because at the end of the day, more than likely, you either not too sure about your strategy or you're just fearful about the outcome. Typically, that's what it comes down to. But you got to be quick. Okay. Let's see what else they do. Lack of focus. Big one. Trading is a performance-based career. Okay. You're pushing a button, but everything has to line up, at least in your head. Everything has to line up with your strategy, the timing, and the opportunity. If you are not focused because you got kids running around, and I understand everybody has different situations, but this is why you have to adapt. Okay. If you really want to take this serious, right? We're talking about the things that majority of people can't do. Majority of traders, they're not profitable. Okay. They can't adapt to their living situations, to their job situations, to their family situations. And these things causes a lack of focus. Okay. You need focus to execute, especially when you get to the big money and when you start to rely on your trading. Okay. Actually, the ability also not thinking long term. Okay. People think of trading because they want to make money tomorrow. They do everything they're not supposed to do just because they want to make money tomorrow. This is not that type of game. It's not. If you want to make money tomorrow, or risk that, go to a casino, right? Go bet, sports bet or something. Okay. This is something that you have to think long term because you're going to be executing day in, day out. And over time, you'll be able to see that you're growing. If you shouldn't be in this industry if you don't have the idea of growing. So people think short term. Again, we're going to recap right quick. Why are only a small percentage of traders profitable? Most people are not disciplined, not consistent. They can't adapt. They're slow to act, lack focus. They think short term. If you do quite literally do the opposite of everything I just typed right now, you would see some type of success, and more likely you would be successful. And you apply this not just with trading, but with every other aspect in life, whether it's school, whether it's the gym, whether it's a new skill you want to learn completely. You don't even have to be in school for that. But these type of skill or these type of characteristics are necessary. It's necessary, and this applies to the small percentage of traders that want to be profitable. Okay, most people want to do the opposite of what's necessary. Why do people think this way? Because if you aren't disciplined, if you aren't focusing, and if you're thinking short term and etc., everything I just wrote is either one or two reasons. It's because you want to have fun, or it's comfortable. But guess what? You gotta get outside of these two things right here: the fun of it and the comfortability of your life. That's the only way you're going to grow. You want to be disciplined. It's not necessarily going to be comfortable or fun. Okay. You can't adapt. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be, it's not going to be comfortable. If you're so used to living in a certain area, wherever you live, and you've been living there all your life, you think you're going to be comfortable moving to a whole nother side of the town or just a whole nother state? You're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to be comfortable, but it's what's necessary. Okay. Get these two words right here through your head and realize you got to be self-aware that why are you doing what you're doing? Because it's fun That's why you're not disciplined. That's why you lack focus. You don't want to move. You don't want to, adapt because it's comfortable. You got to check yourself. But these are the reasons, right? And this is stuff that most people do, right? Your friends, coworkers, family members. Just look around. You'll see these behaviors. And if you catch yourself, or when you catch yourself, because we all fall short, right? When you catch yourself, you got to tighten up. You got to tighten up if you want to become a profitable trader. It's necessary. And like I said, this is a performance-based thing. Like you can't just be slacking. Like if you play sports, anybody that plays sports will truly understand this. Like you got to be in your A game. There's a book, Trading in the Zone. Most people heard of it, but just like in sports, you're in the zone, right? You're in the flow state. You feel like you winning. It's just everything comes natural. But you're focused. You're in the zone, and that's where you need to be when you're in trading. Cut out all the noise. This is something, it's consistent. You got to be consistent. This is something you do, basically rinse and repeat. Okay. So these are the reasons why, in my opinion, that most people aren't going to make it or haven't made it yet. You got to change some things. All right. Second question. What did I do or change to become profitable? All right, so in the beginning, like when I first started, I made every beginner mistake. It was really about not making those mistakes. We hear it all the time, like don't overtrade or don't over leverage. Back test, journal, collect your data, right? Show up to the charts every day. All those things I didn't do, and it is like it's kind of like it's just obvious. It's just obvious. It's I should have been doing that. A lot of the stuff is already out there for y'all. A lot of stuff is regurgitated information. Okay. But I would say in the beginning, I made a lot of those mistakes, and it just because I'm a stubborn guy. And the thing is, like, it just took me a while to really not only understand what I'm being told or what I read or hear from, YouTubers or a podcast, whatever, to actually translate to my personal life. Be like, okay, I actually need to stop over trading. I actually need to figure out one strategy and become good at it. And then, I could, move on or do something else or tweak it. Or, it's just, that's a me thing. It took me a while to figure it out. It could take, I would just recommend people in the beginning, like, do exactly what most people actually tell you. What you hear me saying or what you hear somebody else saying across the world, a different language, we're all saying the same thing about journaling, the same thing about not over trading, not over leveraging, cut out all the noise, focus, you know what I mean? Risk management. Then, why wouldn't you take that in consideration? And again, in the beginning, it's just psychology, because you know what? You're worried about trying to, make $1 million tomorrow. We all been there, done that. Okay. So what did I do? I actually started to, I lost enough money to realize, like, dang, these motherfuckers was true. What they were saying was true. Stop over leveraging. Once I started over leveraging, it's like I just automatically started to become profitable. Once I start over trading, I automatically started becoming profitable. Now, there's other aspects to it as well, but this is what I'm saying in the beginning. I also got rid of a lot of noise online. I stopped a lot of the information, like I said, is out there. And it's pretty much regurgitated. So it's just like, how many other YouTubers or podcasts or, mentors do I need to go through to hear this? Like, I'm hearing the same thing to an extent, just everybody's perspective of it, but I'm hearing the same thing. So it's the lessons. So I'm like, all right, I know what to do. I've heard it over and over again. I don't need to necessarily hear that from another person in this industry. So let me just actually start to implement the things that I keep hearing across the board. And that's what that's when I start to notice certain change, or I started to notice more profits. Then I really understood the essence of patience, which is also another reason why I should put this up here. But a lot of people are impatient. Yeah, that's another one I should actually put up here. But yeah, I just needed to understand, or just take away anything that I understand and pretty much discard the rest. Okay. So under here, I guess I'm just gonna put what did I do? Because in the beginning and even now, like it's kind of the same thing. It just took me a long time, me personally, a long time to actually figure it out. So stop listening to, let's just say, everything, aka noise. That's the first thing. Two, oh man, what did I do? Okay, it's right here. All right, I stopped listening to everything. Too much information. You can't focus. Once again, lack of focus. You can't focus if you got everything in your way, everything like just coming at you. Do this, do that. Like, it's hard. And this is where the discipline, not discipline enough to cut out the noise, so I can focus. This is what I did. Started to become a little more profitable, and this is beginners' mistakes. Right? Okay, another thing. All right, you see it? Backtested a lot. Now, again, in the beginning, a lot of people say backtest. I did not do that. At least there's certain ways you should backtest too, because you could be doing the wrong thing for 10 years, even though you are practicing or backtesting, right? I backtested a lot, but I understood, like, okay, how much backtesting do I need? I don't need to backtest so much. I really understood the concept of backtest. I'm like, okay, backtesting, you should be doing a lot of backtesting when, especially as a beginner, and if you either are about to tweak your strategy or about to, like, try a new strategy. But this is probably like, I'm talking to like intermediate or advanced people. Like, the only time people really backtest is like either just after already becoming profitable, is just to maybe possibly add some things to their playbook. At least that's the reason that's what I do. So, but in the beginning, I backtested a lot. I needed to know what I actually am looking for in the markets once I become live, or once the market is live. So I backtested a lot at first. Okay. But I forward tested. I would say more so. I really can't type. Jeez. I forward tested more after a certain time. So backtest, you can get about 100, like, depending on how long you stay. Like, you can put like a Saturday, Sunday, if you got some time, probably like 1 to 2 hours into just backtest. It depends on how fast you go or whatever. You can pull out more than 100 trades of the same strategy and get some numbers and get some knowledge on the strategy that you do. That's what backtesting allows. Forward testing is in the live market. After I understood my strategy because of backtesting, I started to forward test more, so I can actually get the understanding and the experience of what it's like to trade live. Doesn't mean I necessarily actually made trades, but I will place things up based off my strategy in real time, live. That's very important. So many opportunities, and you see your strategy play out and you decide not to actually interact in some way. It doesn't mean you have to put money on the line, but it means you got to be active and like paying attention. This is where that focus comes from. And when I understood about forward test, I'm like, all right, this is cool. I can get the live experience and I don't have to necessarily like spend the money. I will eventually. I'm just prepping myself to become better. This is something I did to become more profitable. Okay. I would say the last thing I did, at least, I mean, this is more to it, but these are pretty much the general things where I noticed. It's like, okay, I'm like, I really understand this thing a lot more. So another thing is I actually teach trading. Nothing crazy. But for me, teaching it started to help me solidify my concepts of the markets and strategies. So I'm like, okay, there's one thing about me just having all of this in my head. And there's another thing about actually seeing the data, right? Whether I'm winning or losing. But it's a whole nother thing when you're actually, can I teach this to a kid? Could I teach this to somebody that just never traded before? Because if I could do that, then that means I actually understand this and I can actually simplify it as much as possible. which is exactly what I had wanted when I had first got into trading. But since I was everywhere because I was trying to, you know, listen to everything that I was told online, I got confused. And I'm just looking and searching for things that are simple, you know? So once I started to teach a little bit, I'm like, okay, let me put some type of responsibility on my back. Because if people want to be able to make it, I have to be able to know what the hell I'm talking about. So, and this right here is not necessarily a beginner's thing, teaching trading. You need to know, you got to have your data. You got to have your data first. You got to be profitable in the first place. But this right here kind of just even made me more, I would say, profitable when I started to actually hold myself responsible. Discipline is something I have to, you know, keeping myself responsible for myself. That's discipline. But when you got an external aspect of responsibility that you basically have someone looking over your shoulder, but you're responsible for them, right? So you got to make sure everything is on point. It's kind of, I'm gonna say forced, but it's a psychological hack basically. So these three things are basically the things that I kind of look more into that I would say that actually helped me. But the first two right here, definitely game changers. Also, I would say too, this kind of goes without saying, if you're a trader, you understand about risk management, but lower your risk. In fact, I think, you know what, let me go on to the next one. Because I think this is what helped too. So the third question, how do I manage my psychology while trading? Okay. I mean this when I say this, and I didn't understand this at first once again, because just like every new person, we trying to get rich tomorrow in a couple hours. It's just not how it works. But you start to understand that any money is actually good money. It's more money than you had in your pocket before. So when you're trading, truly, you got to accept your loss first. You got to understand how much you're risking. Okay. Accept your loss. We don't want to do that because we don't want to lose. Okay. So accept your loss, aka take responsibility, aka understand and learn about risk. Every single day we're risking something. We're risking our lives, just getting up, going to work, in traffic, with other cars, with other people that isn't paying attention. We're risking all the time. How much are you risking when you come in trading? And why are you such afraid to risk this? This is just money. These are just numbers on a screen. There's a lot more dangerous things in real life that we are risking. Okay? You got to truly accept your loss. Right? That's the first thing. Now, once you understand that you need to accept any of your losses, lower your risk. Half the time, man, like hold on real quick. Let me type this stuff first, because I'm horrible at typing. Lower your risk. A risk is a risk because you accepting it. Okay, how much you risk? You accepting your loss, whether it's $1,000 loss or $1 loss, you got to accept it either way. Psychologically, lower your risk. The more lower your risk is, psychologically is not as bad. You're not as stressed out. And this right here is a game changer because it's like it's underrated. You just need more capital to really see your small risk be bigger than you think it is, right? When it's all just 1%, 0.5%, 0.2%, whatever your lower risk, you're not risking 50% every trade. We're not doing that. That's a beginner's mistake, right? Lower your risk is necessary. Okay. All right. I will also say, let TP or stop loss hit. How are you going to get your data if you don't even let your stop loss or your take profit hit? When you're forward testing, you drop the boxes, right? Let's just say if you're in a buy or whatever, right? You're trying to buys or sells. Just say you're in a position, blase, blase. How are you going to get your data and know that this is a one-on-one if you keep on taking your profits out earlier? Let's say this is a one-on-one. How will you ever get your data? How will you ever know if your strategies are actually accurate? You're not going to know. You're not going to know because every time you get into a trade, you just take out. And I'm not talking about these situations where you have to adapt because you start to see market structure try to shift or something within your trade. But for the most part, you need to let it hit your take profit or your stop loss. That's the only way you're really truly going to get your data. Like, and I'm talking about real time when you do this live, when you put money on in the market. Back tests, we don't have no emotions attached to it because still we don't want to lose, but it's like we don't think too much about it. But in real, but we let our stop loss or take profit hit, and when we practice. So if we're doing all this while we practice, just to not do it in live is kind of pointless. So managing your psychology. Okay. This right here, letting your take profit or your stop loss hit is over time going to build the confidence. It's going to build your confidence because it's like, okay, I know this is a one-on-one or 1-2, and I know based off of my strategy and based off my back testing and the data that I have that this should hit either, you know, my 1-2, my 1-on-1 or whatever. But it's going to more so like solidify your confidence over time. It's like, okay, one, you're not risking that much, so you're not freaking out. You've accepted your loss. We all know how much we can lose. We don't know how much we can make, but we know how much we can lose. And you want to keep that as low as possible. Don't be greedy. But you need to get this so you can get your data in real time. Right? And this is going to help with your psychology because you're going to build confidence over time. And that kind of goes on to the last one. Right? You need to have a tested and proven strategy. Okay. Something that you could replicate over and over and over again. So with the combination of all of these right here, I would say are the main key points that I would say help me manage my psychology, because I gotta accept my loss, whatever it is. I don't care if it's an A+ setup. You know, I may risk a little bit more, but I've already accepted my loss. So it's like, okay, it's like I signed a contract in my head. I signed a contract. It is what it is. Let's see what happens, right? I'm gonna let it hit my stop loss or my take profit. The strategy that I use that's been tested, I'm like, okay, I have confidence in that. But if I don't have confidence in the actual structure, the condition of the market, I'm still using my tested strategy. But if I don't feel as confident in the conditions of the market, then I'm gonna lower my risk if I'm going to take the trade. These 4 things right here is what I do to manage my psychology, because it's like it's necessary. It's necessary. And a lot of this has to do with your tolerance. Your tolerance. If you're more of an aggressive person or risky person, you're going to risk more, but you got to accept your loss. All of these go hand in hand. If you don't accept your loss, you're going to get out of that take profit or stop loss sooner than you should. But why would you do that if you had a tested strategy? All of this goes together. And this is what I use. And these are stuff like off the top of my head that I can think of that's like, I know for a fact all of these come into play when I am on the charts and risking whatever I'm risking in the live market. You should backtest, just to practice and sharpening your sword regardless. But in the market, you need to be focused, right? Up here, you got to be focused. You got to be disciplined. Know when to get in, when to get out. Wait for your strategy, your tested strategy to play out. And if it's an A+ setup or a B+ setup, you'll determine if you lower your risk or you'll just do your normal risk. Accept your loss and let it hit TP or stop loss, right? So this is kind of like what I do as far as when it comes to psychology when I'm trading. And it's a lot on your mind, because trading is stressful, but it's a skill. It's a skill, and it's a skill that could change your life. So if you want to take this serious and not be a small percent of the, if you want to be in the small percentage of traders that are profitable. You have no choice but to, you got to change something. If you discipline, that's cool, right? But are you consistent? Are you quick to adapt? Are you thinking long term? If is everything in your life, are you thinking long term? Or are you just thinking about tomorrow? Because if you are, that you could be disciplined, but it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna get you that far because you're only thinking about tomorrow, right? All this goes in hand. So yeah, appreciate y'all for staying through. This is a 30-minute video, pretty long for this psychology video, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave that down in the comment section below. I really appreciate you guys sticking through this psychology video. I want to make them shorter at some point, but I do want to, I gotta touch on certain things. I don't want to give y'all half-ass answers, because it's these answers, some of these answers are you've seen them before, but what do I mean by them? That's the real thing. The real gems I'm trying to give. So yeah, if y'all have any questions or comments, or just leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, subscribe, and I definitely I do want to say too, I'm going to be doing more recap videos and beginner videos as well, and I will be adding back testing on Saturday nights. Right now I think about Saturday or Sundays, maybe Saturdays, because Sunday market is open, for about an hour, maybe around 8 or 9 o'clock. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. If you're not part of the Discord, definitely there's a link below. You already know what to do. Come through. We got some homework assignments. We got some videos that are posted there. It's just a very unique community, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you guys. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.